MK Pulse and Seclo Sounds, the heart and soul of the city.
Bringing people and communities together on seclosounds.org.
It's 9 o'clock, it's Thursday night, it must be Mind Your Head. And 2 weeks running, we've got that nice little tune in the background where we introduce the show and talk about what we're going to do. I haven't checked your mic levels yet, chaps, but feel free to waffle on while I'm doing this, and we'll work it from there. Good evening, Chris.
Good evening, Steve.
Good evening, Sue.
Good evening.
Good evening, Jeanette. And we are joined in the studio this evening by Fiona McGuire, who is going to talk about her stuff and what she does and all of the groovy things that happen. We'll come to that after we play our first song. You can get in touch with us, as always. Oh, all right, we're going to play our first song now. We'll come back to it later. Fair dues. All right, welcome to Mind Your Head. This is the Foo Fighters. I quite like this song, so we'll get it done early.
Gravity waiting on the fall.
There you go. That's a tune and a half. I know that kind of gets you going at the beginning of the show, doesn't it? We try and play a banger at the start, and then mellow it as the evening goes on.
Bit of autumn rock and roll.
There you go. Right, canny chaps. Here we are. It's Manger Head.
It's with Ant and Deck.
Oh, glory be! Can you imagine? Good evening, listener land. It is Mind Your Head. It's Thursday evening. It's just after 9, and we're here to talk about all things mental health and well-being. I'm joined in the studio this evening, as I was saying before, the Foo Fighters so rudely interrupted by Chris, by Sue, by Jeanette, and by Fiona McGuire, who's here to talk to us about her programme, The Key to Awareness, which is around trying to connect people back to the reality that they want.
Yes, but also, by being aware.
By being aware. Okay, before we get into that proper, I do need to talk to our listeners about how they can get in touch with us this evening. And thank you, whoever moved the clock, because I can actually read the whole lot tonight. So
great.
You can get in touch with us here in the studio by emailing radio@seclosound.org. You can get us on Facebook at facebook.com/MYH Radio Show.
That's very eloquent.
What does the MYH stand for?
In the voice of Kimberly Walsh, Steve, Mind Your Head.
Chris seems to be doing Impressions Week here on Mind Your Head. So facebook.com/MYH Radio Show. You can get us on Twitter at MK_mind, or you can phone us here in the studio on Milton Keynes 01908 233 288. That is as smooth as that bit has ever gone on this show. We're only on week 6.
Well done.
So, yes, congratulations. Well done, everyone. We should all be very happy. Okay, so we are today joined in the studio by Fiona McGuire. We are going to talk later on about some of the changes that are happening locally in terms of mental health services. There is some good stuff happening, which is nice, and I want to tell you all about it. But we're going to kick off with Fiona. So, Fiona, The Key to Awareness, this is the programme that you run. Tell us about it, and we will likely toast you about what we don't understand. Crack on.
Great. The Key to Awareness, I created it after a long search of trying to find a process that taught me how to actually be aware. There's a lot of people talking about awareness and mindfulness, but there's no one that actually had a how-to guide. So I brought up as an Irish Catholic, and I'd gone into Buddhism and I studied psychology, and yet there was nothing that shed any light on, well, how do you create your own life? How do you be really happy and find out what it is that you want to do? What is your joy? What is your source?
Yeah.
So I actually created the Key to Awareness out of that. Now, why is awareness so important, and why are we talking about it on a mental health show? It's because when you're aware, you're not in stress, you're not in anxiety, you're not in depression. And for me, awareness is actually health. The two are the same. When I'm in awareness, I'm in my health, I'm in my element, I'm creating what I want in my life.
So it's like a seesaw. When your mental health is good, you're not in bad mental health. Perhaps.
Pardon?
Like a seesaw.
Try that one again, mate.
Yeah.
So when you're well, you're not unwell. So being aware helps the unwell stuff stay at bay. Is that what you mean? Like a seesaw?
Yeah, definitely. Like remuneration, which we talked about on the mindfulness show, is basically when we repeat the same things in our head again and again and again. And what I say to a lot of my clients, that's when you start entering the rabbit hole. Once you go down there, you're in the darkness, and that's it. And you quite quickly fall back into depression. It's a number one cause for depression, remuneration. It's repeating the same stuff again and again and again in your own head. So a way out of that is to be aware of what it is that you're actually saying to yourself. Be aware of your thoughts, be aware of your emotions, and be aware of how you can work with those and change those to ones that are more healthy. That's part of the process of the Key to Awareness. So the first part is divided into 9 steps that gradually lead you into noticing more about your thoughts, if you're working with your thoughts to begin with, or more about your emotions, if you're working more with your emotions to begin with. And step 5 is about, how do I change that thought to a more productive thought that brings me to where I want to be in my life? And then I think it's step 6, you start working, 6, 7, you start working with both of them together, the thought and the emotion. Because I believe that thought and emotion basically arise together. It's just that some people are more aware of their thoughts and some people are more aware of their emotions. But they arise together and they definitely affect each other. So the first part of the process is understanding the interactions between your thoughts, your emotions, your conditioning and your behaviour. And that's what separates the key to awareness process from mindfulness. It's because it actually gives people that intellectual understanding, and through gently bringing you through steps, you get to notice that yourself and you really understand what it means for you rather than just some theoretical cloud out there that means nothing. It becomes personal. Like, what does it mean to you? How does it affect your life? And how can you change your thoughts and your emotions and your actions and your conditioning to create a life that you're really happy with, that's not stressful, that doesn't lead to anxiety, and you don't pop down the rabbit hole back to depression.
Mm-hmm. Is it like a process that you would need to be guided through, or is it like a process, like a list you can buy and stick to, like a bit of homework, or how does it work through time?
Well, the interesting thing is I wrote this process down in 2008, and I remember the first sentence, which I'm not allowed to say on radio, and I handed it out to people.
No, you're not.
I handed it out to people. It was an A4 sheet, and they was like, this sounds really great, but I don't get it. So one A4 sheet, one-sided A4 sheet, turned into a 136-page book, I think, where I created a process that led people through stage by stage to it. But I was teaching the process for 3 years before I actually wrote a book for people. And I've just brought out the second edition, which is called The Key to Awareness, Break Free from All the
Rubbish.
S-H
Rubbish.
Exclamation mark T.
Thank you very much.
Oh, it's an
Family radio.
exclamation mark, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So you can buy the manual, you can buy the book and work through it yourself. It's now 168 pages, and the second part gives you exercises that enable you to embody awareness. So how do you calm yourself down? How do you be centred? How do you get a clear and focused mind? And there's also MP3s that are get given away with the book, where you can listen to the exercises.
So there's a range of ways, I suppose, that people could access this.
Absolutely.
In terms of they can go and download the resources or get them off the internet, or presumably contact you for a more personal approach, perhaps.
Yeah, I have one-to-one sessions, and I do regular workshops as well.
Okay, I mean, I was having a look at the website earlier. I've got it in front of me now. And in simple terms, what it says is the key to awareness is a simple, practical process that guides you in how to become more aware in your everyday life, in business, work, relationships and health. It enables you to choose how you act rather than reacting. And I think that's a really interesting thing to look at, that so much of what we do is habit or it's just what we do because it's what we do because it's what we've always done.
And we all want to fit in and please people, don't we? So we tend to react to people around us rather than just being ourselves.
It's a really, I mean, that's another whole program, I think, about people pleasing and looking after yourself and whatever else. I might touch on that later, actually. The other things it says, you can go from being stressed to being calm quickly, which again, I think, in one of the things that we see a lot in Mind is people approaching us for support in dealing with their anger. And anger is often a result of stress and pressure and all of those sort of things. But also, the third point it makes is to become more intuitive and decisive. I think, I mean, if you simply look at those three things, this. Obviously, we're a mental health and wellbeing radio show, and possibly more mental health than wellbeing. And this, I think, is possibly something that's far more about, or as much for people to look after their mental health, to prevent developing more serious conditions, as well as perhaps people who have got lived experience. Yeah,
absolutely. The clients that I see on a one-to-one basis and in my workshops are people that have had mental health conditions, mainly depression, really, and anxiety problems, panic attacks, right through to people that are well, they're just not satisfied with their life. And at the other extreme, people who want to actually become enlightened. And I always laugh when I get those because I think, well, I'm not enlightened, so why do you want to talk to me? But hey-o.
Okay, so what... We've kind of got into a habit on Mind Your Head of there being a practical exercise each week. Lizzie started this and we carried it on last week with the quiz. I understand, Fiona, that you're going to do something similar this evening. Not now, but no. Do you want to give people a taster, a quick teaser?
Yeah, absolutely. And this exercise, it's grounding, and I've devised it. It's my very own grounding exercise, and of course it's going to be shortened for radio, but the effects are the same. It's how you quickly get out of stress and how you quickly get out of anxiety and panic attacks. So,
excellent. That sounds good. Okay, so so stay tuned. We're going to come to that.
Sorry, carry on. Sorry, you mentioned Lizzie. You just want to say hello to Lizzie if you're listening.
Yeah, she will undoubtedly. I bet she is as well.
well.
She can't make it tonight, but she does send her best wishes and all that sort of stuff. I think she'll probably be back next week. The person I haven't mentioned, of course, this evening, and she's always there, and she makes a lovely cup of tea, and
Very
she has
nice
made a
brew.
lovely cup of tea today. Hello,
nice
Julie.
lady.
I know you're not going to talk, but hello anyway. Right, we need to play a trail and a song. So you can listen to Nigel G talking about drive time, and then perhaps something a bit funkier.
The Drive Time Show with Nigel G every Monday to Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. online at seclosounds.org. The best mix of music and fun to wind down your day. Listen out for a slice of cheese, the rotten tomato, and remember the bees. Intrigued? Don't miss the Drive Time Show with Nigel G every Monday to Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. on seclosounds.org.
silence.
There you go, a bit of Depeche Mode. I think that was a Lizzie request. So just to follow up the whatever, the hello Lizzie, and thanks for not being here or whatever. Anyway, good evening. It's Mind Your Head, and we're here with Fiona McGuire, who's talking to us about the key to awareness, her project, her what would you call it?
It's a process. It's a process how to become aware.
Her process that she uses that bring people more satisfying lives, perhaps.
Yep, it's the only life tool you need.
Okay, just for the purposes of balance, absolutely. Other life tools are available. Mind Your Head doesn't restrict itself to any one particular life tool. We are embracing of all life tools, and tools of various descriptions. I bought a bow saw yesterday. It's big. I know. Thanks. It was dead cheap as well. Okay.
It's the season for bow saws.
It's undoubtedly the season for bow saws. I was down at our Eco Minds project yesterday. We had the lovely people from DHL Legal Services in who were doing a volunteering day with us. We started at 10 o'clock with a cup of tea and a Danish pastry, and started at 10:30 in the garden. Between 10:30 and 11:30, we had snow, sleet, hail, thunder, and piling rain.
I thought you were going to
for
list
an
all
hour.
the injuries that you...
It was no, it was minging weather. And
It did snow yesterday.
It did snow yesterday, and then the afternoon was utterly gorgeous. They did a fabulous job. We'll get something up on the Mind website, mind-blmk.org.uk, and you can see. But thank you very much to Caroline and Keith and all the other people from DHL who came down. Really good day working with some of our members and some of our staff. It was good. And I ate my own body weight in Danish pastries, which is always nice. So we are here with Fiona McGuire talking about the key to awareness. Chris, you were asking during Depeche Mode, as you were, what's where if this is the only life tool that you need, why? What makes this different from other things? And
I was wondering a couple of things. What the similarities or differences are between the key to awareness, looking at Fiona now, and mindfulness, because we've been discussing mindfulness in the past shows, and also what was your passions? What made you want to get started with writing a guide for people? I know you said there wasn't one there. There's lots of work around awareness, but what made you arrive at really getting interested in awareness? Was it like a life event that happened to you, or?
No, when I was a child, I was quite aggressive and angry, and had a lot of frustration. I didn't know at school that I was dyslexic, but I found out at university. And there was just a mismatch between what I knew and what I verbally could express and what my exam results were. So that was enough to cause frustration, really. But there was this inherent anger in me, and I wasn't too sure where it was from. But it was just there. And it was always there, and as I got older, I could control it more. I used sports a lot as a child to control my anger, mainly cycling. I was BMX racing and then long-distance cycling. And then as I went to university and things like that, I started looking at Buddhism, and I read a few Buddhist books, and I learned how to meditate, and that really made a huge difference with how my anger and how angry I felt, and when I'd express it and when I'd not, and how I'd express it. And then I started doing mindfulness meditation through Buddhism, which was similar to insight meditation. And that was really, really good, But what I noticed was a lot of people could meditate and they looked very blissed out when I was meditating, or they looked very calm. They looked like they was in their body and calm, they're blissed out. A lot of people left their body when they're blissed out. But then they'd get up off the cushion and then straight away start arguing with their spouse or their family. And I just thought, well, that's not for me. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something that I can take into my whole life that changes the way I am in my whole life. Not that there's anything wrong with me, but how do I be aware? How could I live my life and really enjoy it without all these ups and downs of emotions that I was experiencing? 'Cause I'm very, very sensitive even now, but, I've got a different way of being with that now. I see it as a gift rather than a curse. So mindfulness is an amazing meditation. It's amazing philosophy. It's from Buddhism. John Kabat-Zinn took it on. I forget now when he took it on, but he kind of really made it famous in 1979. And
Lizzie was talking about in a mindfulness show, wasn't it? And I'm interested to hear stuff about Buddhism and the link with that, because there's lots of Buddhist elements parallel in lots of areas of mental health, isn't there? Jeanette, Sue, what do you think about Buddhism and mental health? There's overlaps.
Jeanette, we're in your world now, aren't we, love?
When you were talking about anger, I mean, that's how I kind of came to Buddhism actually as well. But I can remember where I used to work, sitting with clients, watching television on a Sunday morning and watching one of those kind of faith sort of programs, and just I was brought up Christian as well. My mum's a rabid God botherer, so I kind of. But I remember sitting there when I was taking communion, thinking, there's something there for some people, but it just doesn't kind of resonate. I used to kind of pray and think, there's got to be something, and it just wasn't. But I remember watching this show and thinking, and things kind of started to click. One of the things I found most useful, because I read Thich Nhat Hanh's book about anger, which I found really useful. But my favourite kind of Buddhist meditation was the Metta Bhavana, though, because I found that really kind of helpful. It's a meditation on compassion and developing loving kindness for people.
Oh wow!
But like you, I mean, when you were saying about, I suppose awareness is just bringing that mindfulness into your kind of everyday life, and every task can be done mindfully. I mean, it's just. I was quite interested. So it's like on a tangent, because if I don't say, I'll forget. When you talk about having something as a process. I think I'm quite awkward, and I sometimes deliberately I don't find it easy to do things in a kind of step-by-step logical process. I tend to kind of dart in and out of things.
It's quite lovely. Just finding you're testing boundaries, like testing stuff.
No, my brain just doesn't work in that kind of way. Do you find? I mean, so something like a scheme where you kind of take one step at a time would be something that would make me a bit. Well, do you find people kind of dip in and out, or do you find that people generally kind of go through the process?
Well, I wrote the book just to make it a lot, like the book's $14.95. To spend an hour with me is at least £85. So I wrote the book so people can access awareness and benefit from it, like I have, for little or nothing. And I quite often give resources away from the book anyway. I'm sure that every single piece of the book is in my website anyway. If you looked hard enough for it, you'd find it all for free. So the interesting thing, when I'm working one-to-one with people, I don't follow a linear model at all. Yeah. I go with exactly what that person needs in that moment, and I get them to become aware of what it is that's causing their problem, because that gives them their autonomy, and then they can fix it. Because I'm not the great master that knows everything. No, but what I do know,
out what that person already knows, just doesn't realise they know them.
Absolutely, because that's what awareness is. Yeah. Like I believe we create our life, so we therefore create all the problems in our life. So we therefore have all the solutions to all the problems. We can just choose to do something differently. So when people work one-to-one with me, it's not normally a linear process, that they get what they need when they need it, and they kind of jump around. And the model of my work that's on my website, that explains it. There's like 5 circles and there's arrows going all over the place. Because you might start at stage 3, for example, but you need to go back to stage 1 to understand that. And then you suddenly jump to stage 5 and that's it, you're done. 2 and 4 doesn't really matter. No. And that's the way my brain works, to be honest. I just wrote the book in a linear fashion, so everyone could understand it, really, to just put it out there nice and simply.
And for some people, that kind of linear process will work, and for others, like you say, you kind of dip in and out, and it's cyclical. You kind of get to a certain place with one, then jump to another, and then. But
with the book, if you read it all, there's the steps only take a day to complete, and all you're asked to do is notice something. So it's not really like you've got to do this. It's not really concrete. It's concrete in terms of it asks you to notice something, but the way you notice is purely down to your individual. So going back to the question about mindfulness and awareness, the thing was in the mindfulness courses that I was looking at was, even though there was in some of the very good ones like this, there is discussion time. There is time to say, well, how's this working for you and how it's not working for you. But there wasn't a clear explanation of why your thoughts create what's happening in your life, or why your emotions create what's happening in your life. And there's no explanation of, well, how do you choose a different thought, or how do you choose a different emotion? And it seems to be in a lot of Buddhist training, they automatically think you're going to take what you've learned in meditation and be able to apply it to everyday life. But that doesn't seem to be the truth for most people. They need some sort of transition. Well, how do I apply that feeling that I get on the cushion to my everyday life? Well, there needs to be some understanding. So that's why there's two parts, and the first part deals with that understanding. How do you understand your thoughts, emotions, conditioning and action?
Because that kind of intellectualising of it, that's the kind of, in a way, that's the easy part. It's the kind of then bringing the emotion and the intellectual kind of understanding together, isn't it? That's
sure,
the
but
hardest.
You have to give the left brain something to chew over, so it is quiet and allows the right brain to create. So, and you know, I'm very creative, but if my left brain's not satisfied, then it's like a dog with a bone. It needs something to think about.
Fair dues. I'll tell you what, we're getting that. It's interesting stuff, you know.
I missed all that.
You did. Honestly, you
Well, what we were saying.
what was it? All right. Left brain, right brain, all sorts of groovy stuff. Brilliant.
I'll have to listen to the replay.
You will have to listen to the replay. Okay. We're going to take a break while we get ready for the practical, because we're over halfway through already. It flies by. And every week I say it flies by. And I do need to say some things before we move on. We are on Seclo Sounds. This is Mind Your Head. And Seclo Sounds exists to bring people and communities together to celebrate all that's best about the city of Milton Keynes. There's a variety of music and speech programmes produced by local people, like this one, which is produced by us every week. Well, I say produced, cobbled together. We come down, we play some tunes, we have a natter, and we're run by over 60 volunteers. There's always room for more, so if you have a programme idea or a skill that you would like to offer, send an email to volunteers@seclosounds.org. This is also a good opportunity to speak how you became that's about how I became a member of the team. I became a member of the team because Chris dragged me down here. And we're now on series 3. We're going to take a musical break.
By the ponytail.
By the ponytail. I'm having my haircut tomorrow. Anyway, we're going to have one of Janetti's, I believe, requests. Oh no! So we'll have this. I like this song, by the way. I think it's a fabulous piece of music, and we shall enjoy it thoroughly and just calm it down a little bit before we take it back up towards the end.
My love has come along. My dreams become a song. My days are bright and sunny. Funny why I'm so blue. The man is like a drug. Humiliating, and I can't get enough. Love and all its splendor has surrendered its every blow, and that is the blues that I know. This is love, what was I thinking? This is love, what the hell am I gonna do? what I choose. Love is the baddest blues. The joy versus the pain. No, my joy, it ain't the same. So I'll put it plain and simple. Just like front page news. Love is the baddest blues. Love is the baddest blues. This is love. What was I thinking? This is love.
Hi, this is Andrew Ackerman dropping in to tell you about Jazz Joint, happening every Friday night between 10 and 12 a.m. on Seclo Sounds. If you like funk or fusion, modern or Latin, or maybe even a slice of acid, we have it all covered in Jazz Joint. Oh, and the best jazz vocalist on the planet too. Jazz Joint on Seclo Sounds and TuneIn Radio.
That was Andrew Ackerman talking to me about Jazz Joint. I'm talking to you about Jazz Joint. He's coming up after us with Groove Lounge. Anyway, we had a bit of Beth Hart before that, Baddest Blues, which I think is a banging tune. It's a proper nice, smoky, sort of tune. Anyway, here we are. Mind your head, Seclo Sounds, your community radio station for Milton Keynes. We've got Chris, we've got Sue, we've got Jeanette, and we've got Fiona McGuire in the studio. And we promised you a practical. So, Fiona, I am going to hand control of the studio to you for our practical exercise this evening. Crack on.
This exercise is a grounding exercise, and it's available for free on my website, www.realenergy4all.com. So you just sign in, you get it for free. So I'd like everyone to uncross their legs, put their feet flat on the floor, and if you feel so inclined, close your eyes. So the purpose of this exercise is just to get you fully into your body, because when we're stressed or anxious, we tend to not be fully in our body. So this exercise will help you be calm and be comfortable with yourself and be present and be focused. So if you put all your attention into your feet and just feel how they feel right now. Are you aware of the temperature? Are you aware of your shoes, your slippers, or the floor? And then allow your attention to stay in your feet, and also bring your attention up your lower legs towards your knees. And then up your thighs and into your pelvis. And ask yourself, does your pelvis feel full or does it feel empty? Can you feel movement or is it still? Then bring your attention into your lower torso and your organs, your intestines, and your transverse colon. And then bring your attention up into your mid-torso and your chest and your heart and your lungs and your rib cage. Then up into your shoulders, down your arms and into your hands, into your neck and your throat, the back of your head, the sides of your head, your mouth, nose, ears and eyes, and your forehead. And then bring your attention to the top of your head and into your head. So now you're aware of the whole of your body. Your attention is in the whole of your body. Allow this attention to expand so your body is no longer parts, it's all. And just be there with this feeling of the whole of your body. See if you can feel the aliveness of every cell as it moves around. And allow some of your attention, some might say energy, 5% or 10%, to go deep into the ground. As deep into the ground is what is comfortable for you. And you might become aware of some energy or of something coming from the ground and entering your body. So what you're letting go of into the ground is what you don't need anymore. Your stress, your anxiety, pain, aches. And what's coming from the ground is new, revitalised energy. Because the earth is basically like a big battery. It charges us. We can walk because of the biomechanic atmosphere of the earth. It's that power that propels us forward. So allow some of that power to come into your body now, revitalise you. If any thoughts come, just let them go. Any emotions come, just acknowledge them and let them be. And when you're ready, you might want to move your hands, move your toes. If your eyes were closed, open them. And slowly continue with what you were doing. And that's grounding, and it's available on my website.
Fantastic.
Nice work.
Some engaging ideas throughout that as well. Very good. I'm nodding my head.
He is. He's a bit blissed out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we will take a couple of minutes to reflect and come back after this. Okay, we're going to have to fade Blair out because we're just running out of time. But Sarah, that was one of yours, I think. So big shout out to Sarah, who's also been on the Facebook this evening, and Karen, thank you for your comments, and it's nice to know you're tuned in. That was like proper DJing, though, wasn't it? Fade it in, fade out. Oh, I tell you, I can't get my head around this one at all.
Just keep going. See how long we can keep going for.
What, over the top of Blur Coffee TV?
What have you got there, Steve?
Okay, what in terms of DJ?
Yeah, DJ-ness.
DJ-ness.
Shout out to Lee Austin for liking Mind Your Head on our Facebook page. Thank you, Lee Austin.
Okay. Jolly good.
The Newport Packnell boy.
Okay, coming up at 10 is Groove Lounge with Andrew Ackerman. This is Seclo Sounds. But anyway, I'm going to fade Blur out. I'm sorry. We all right, I'll just keep him in the background.
Where are we going next, Steve?
Well, we're going to have a quick reflection on how was that for you. I'm not sure we can do it with, he's banging guitars in the background. I'm sorry, Chris. I'm making an executive decision.
It's wonderful.
It's done.
Genetic.
It's done.
What did you think to Fiona's grounding? And Sue, indeed. I've not heard a lot from Sue tonight. Are you all right?
I'm very well, thank you. I got quite grounded.
Looking lovely in your Buddhist colours tonight as well. Orange.
Very special.
A butterfly. I thought it was my elephant, but it's a butterfly. No, it was sort of good because I did similar to that lunchtime with me chair yoga. Sort of, we had to sort of find all our body and relax. So 2 sessions a day can't be bad.
It's interesting you say find your body because a lot of people, their life is so fast paced at the moment that they're not in their body feeling their feelings and they're not even aware that they're not in their body. So a major way to reduce your stress and anxiety or completely get rid of it is just to get back into your body.
To get rid of that chatter.
Absolutely.
You mentioned before, like thinking of the future, thinking of the past, just being aware of what's going on in the moment.
Yeah.
Which is really tough to do, actually.
Definitely.
Until we get used to it.
It takes a bit of practice.
Yeah.
Because I have joined Liz's mindfulness stress reduction course.
Great.
And it's been great as well. It's been, we've got homework, the first week we're easing into 20 minutes a day mindfulness where we sit for 20 minutes. It's quite tough without your mind wandering off left, right and centre, which is fine for it to do that, but to bring it back constantly.
Absolutely.
You notice how many times you're having to bring you back to just what's going on for now so that you're not worrying about what's happening in the future and that what's happened in the past. You're just enjoying the moment. It's quite tough.
But it's like any new skill, isn't it? Until you get used to it, it does seem tough. But soon you'll realise the benefits of it and you'll be like, how did I live my life any other way?
Exactly. And I'm really intrigued about what's coming in the next 9 weeks.
And the thing about mindfulness is as well is that it kind of honours where you are. It's not you're not always going to be great. There's going to be times when life kind of creeps up on you and things are difficult. Yeah. But that awareness you were saying about kind of constantly coming back, it's a victory that you notice that you've gone, so you can come back. So it's just there are times where you will wobble and you need to kind of draw yourself back. So it's the whole journey.
Yeah.
It's just
this
about
is Liz's. Sorry.
No.
This is Liz's teaching so far. It's a shame she's not here because we've had one session already, and I just wanted to sort of relay that on sort of as the weeks go on, and it is noticing drifting off and that being all right.
Well, maybe that's the way to do it then, Chris. We'll have a weekly Lizzie session update from Chris.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. Okay, we're coming to the end of the show. We're going to have a bit of a news section, but just before we go, Real Energy, the number 4 all.com is your website, Fiona.
That's right.
There's a load of really good stuff on there, including a How to Survive Christmas posting that I had a nosy at this afternoon.
Go on holiday.
Leave the family
pretend
behind.
it's not happening, and something like that. Okay, we're going to have a quick roundup of news. So, should we start with you?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. On last Friday, I went to the Mental Health Partnership Board Planning Committee meeting because in Milton Keynes the Mental Health Act plans are up for renewal. So we're sitting there sort of working out what's their moment, what we want in the future, and throwing sort of notes on boards and flip charts, things what we feel should be made available.
So this is the Mental Health Partnership Board, which is the kind of group of everybody in Milton Keynes
That's
who
right,
wants to make things better.
The actual service providers are having their part of the meeting next week, and they'll be seeing what we've put forward for our suggestions.
Good. Well, that's the way it should be. We should hear from the people who are using and caring services.
Yeah, we had to do prevention, primary care, and the recovery. And one good thing which come out of it, which is what someone's already doing at the moment, is if you know anyone, a vulnerable person, sort of whether you're a carer or yourself, is to get friendly with your local PCSOs. Okay. And they can give you the support and sort of give you a bit of help if someone's sort of like bullying you or anything. So you've got that bit of support there.
Nice work.
PCSOs?
Police community service officers.
Right.
It's the they're not police, but they're employed by the police to back up the police.
Yeah, those dudes that walk around.
In
yes,
in high-vis vests,
and
absolutely, absolutely. Okay, thank you, Sue.
That's okay.
I think the Mental Health Partnership Board needs to change. I think it is changing. It's all good stuff. Okay, Janetti, you had something about psychotherapists in schools.
Yes, bring it on.
Yeah,
Janetti. I really agree with that.
There's an article in The Guardian a couple of days ago that I thought was really interesting. It was a head teacher of a school, and not mentioned, somewhere in the West Midlands, that's using the pupil premium to employ a full-time psychotherapist in the school.
Brilliant.
He was talking about how it, apart from, the obvious benefits, it's improving attendance, children are happier, there's better results. And he mentions that because CAM's provision in varying areas is... I'm trying to be.
There are challenges for them to overcome, improvements to be made.
But it kind of interests me, given that I have kind of friends who have been down the road of trying to get support for their children, but there being absolutely nothing available. So that's kind of fabulous. But the article also mentions that the schools aren't assessed on the guidance and care and support, the social support that they're given to children, which is slightly disturbing.
Absolutely.
But the last thing he sort of says is that the key is early intervention and building resilience for young people. So
I think he speaks sense. If you get people young and give them the skills and the tools to be able to look after their mental well-being.
Finishes it with is they don't want to provide superb levels of support and see them in tears when they walk out the doors when they leave school, but sometimes we congratulate ourselves on how sad they are to leave, but the best chicks that leave the nest are those that don't look back.
Fair dues. Okay, and very quickly before we finish, I want to say thank you to everybody for coming in this evening. There is a new improved out-of-hours crisis support service in Milton Keynes. A new out-of-hours urgent advice line for users of mental health services in Milton Keynes was launched on Monday, 0800 0234 650 from 5 p.m. to 9 a.m, which is a great shout. I'm going to have to play some songs.
Walk, jam, nitty gritty. You're listening to the boy from the big bad city. This is Jam High.
Let him do this bit, and then I'll quieten down a bit, and then we'll come back. Okay, so this has been Mind Your Head. We're here again next week. Next week we've got a guest from the Wellbeing Centre in West Bletchley to talk to us about talking therapies and the range of talking therapies that there are available. Big thank you to Jeanette and Sue and Chris and Gilly for the tea, and Fiona McGuire. Thank you very much for coming in. We will no doubt cross paths again. Okay, I thought we might squeeze something else in, but we've just run out of time tonight, so I'm going to talk over Lindy Layton and Beats International. This is a tune from my youth. Thank you very much for tuning in to Mind Your Head this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks to all my guests in the studio. We are back same time, same place next week. Secular Sounds, your community radio station from Milton Keynes, 9 o'clock Thursday evenings. We will leave you with a bit of Beats International, and coming up next, Andrew Ackerman with Groove Lounge, and I'm sure, as always, he will play some banging tunes, as they say. So say goodnight, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Thanks very much. We'll see you next week. Take care.
Tank fly, boss walk, jam, nitty gritty. You're listening to the boy from the big bad city. This is Jam Hot. This is Jam Hot.
MK Pulse proudly sponsors Seclo Sounds. MK Pulse is Milton Keynes' local magazine, bringing helpful information on food, health, fashion, money, travel, culture, and much more to 66,000 readers every month. Plus news, views, and what's on from around the city. If it's happening in Milton Keynes, it's in MK Pulse, and it's available online at www.mkpulse.co.uk. MK Pulse and Seclo Sounds, the heart and soul of the city.